The narwhal tusk in its simplest form is a spiral tooth that protrudes from the upper lip of the narwhal. Not all narwhals have tusks. Some have two instead of just one. Absent in most females, only 15% of females have tusks, whereas males have longer, stronger tusks may suggest it helps in finding a mate. In the summer months, when narwhals migrate to shore, it's quite common to see two males crossing tusks, their heads pointed to the sky. It's been suggested that this behavior is a way for young males to practice and size each other up before mating season. Tusks are not just used for mating but also for survival. Like human teeth, the tusk has many sensory nerve endings that can detect subtleties in temperature, pressure, and particle presence in the water. But a narwhal tusk is a unique tooth in that the nerve system of the inner core connects directly to the outside of the tusk. No other animal's teeth are like it. It's estimated that 10 million fluid-filled channels called tubules cover the tusk from base to tip. Beginning in medieval Europe and into the early Renaissance, we see narwhal tusks being added to the collections of wealthy, often as prized possessions in one cabinet of curiosity. Besides being in the collections of royals and the wealthy, sometimes these narwhal tusks were being safeguarded by churches. These precious tusks were not being collected as you would think. They were being collected as presumed unicorn horns. So how did these exotic horns end up? The people of Greenland, where many of these washed up on shore, knew there would be an opportunity to make money by selling these strange and unique pieces of ivory. They entered Europe via a trading network that passed through Scandinavia, eventually becoming prestigious objects coveted by princes and popes, even though they didn't know what they were. During this time, the addition of unicorn horns to people's private collections was only growing. They were kept in church treasuries, such as St. Denis just outside of Paris, which has claims to have one that was given to Charlemagne in the 9th century. Many other European rulers wanted to get their hands on the unicorn horn. This included unicorn horns being popular gifts. In 1553, Pope Clement presented King Francis I of France with a magnificent horn mounted on solid gold. Ivan the Terrible had a staff made from one, and Philip II of Spain had a 12 in his collection. On top of that, the wealthy Habsburg family placed one of the unicorn horns in a scepter covered in gemstones. The trade strengthened during the Middle Ages when the unicorn horn became a symbol of Christ, and therefore an almost holy animal. By the Renaissance, unicorn horns had developed a reputation as a poison cure-all. Royals such as Queen Elizabeth I was a believer in the magical properties of the unicorn horn and had a chalice made of the unicorn horn that was said to explode poison. Historian Jerry Dennis describes in his book A Walk in Animal Kingdom. When British explorer Martin Forgeber returned from his expedition to the Arctic in 1577, he brought with him a 6-foot-long tusk that he had found on a Dead Sea unicorn. He tested the tusk's medical potency by placing spiders inside. When the spiders died, he declared the horn effective in neutralizing poison and presented it as a gift to Queen Elizabeth I. It is important to remember that during the medieval time period, unicorns were not considered mysterious mythical creatures, but real beasts that lived in faraway places. They were even listed in medieval books known as bestiaries. These books included allegorical descriptions of animals, including elephants and lions. It was all the way up until the 1800s that people were making serious claims that unicorns existed. Unicorns had a symbolism of their own and were thought to be recognizers of purity. Therefore, the lore was made that the only way to lure a unicorn was with the pure virgin woman. This tale also became beloved. As disappointing as it is, finding out that the source of the magic was all along none of the less but a narwhal horn, we can still come to appreciate the lessons it has taught us throughout history. Lessons of questioning what is real and what is man-made. Questions of symbolism and the worth of an object. How one person can put so much value into something that could be so meaningless or worthless to another. This alone can teach us to inspect every culture with fresh eyes and leave the symbolic interpretation to the history and culture of one's time period.